This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Hello and welcome back to Totally Rank, a podcast that puts your opinions in order. I am Scott Grimes, back from my fourth voyage on this trip, and if you've been listening along, you know that we are covering 1983 on this episode. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it because as my guest and I will go over, there's a lot to cover, and I want to get right into it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. As always, before I start the list here, I'm going to introduce my guest. He is a very, very esteemed member of the podcast community, but I will let him tell you that. My guest for this episode is Mr. Dan Lundberg. Dan, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Scott? Thanks for having me on. As you know, I'm a very esteemed member of the podcast community, so at least that's what I've heard.
Self-proclaimed. No, it's
not even self-proclaimed. It's you proclaimed. But yeah, I'm Dan Lundberg. You've probably heard me on other podcasts, such as the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, where Scott and I are often referred to as something Big Fudge, always Big Fudge, or something Correct. Fudge. Yeah,
something fudge related. Always.
Something fudge related. Always.
Keyboard elf, EL fudge, something.
Yep. Vanilla fudge didn't make my list this time. Just
Speaking of,
Yeah,
I mean, thank you, first of all, for taking the time to do this. We were just talking before we started recording about the difficulties of constructing these lists, which happens to be a recurring theme on this podcast. So before we even get into the list, though, just, I guess, tell me a little bit more in general. It doesn't even have to be necessarily 1983 specifically, but just more about your, I guess, relationship with 80s music and music of this era, early 80s.
Yeah, so unlike other people you've had on, probably, I can't say this for a fact, but I lived through this. I was 10 when 1983 came around, so I was actually aware of this music. I wouldn't say I was actually listening to it at the time. My parents didn't really listen to pop music, so I grew up on Willie Nelson and the Beatles and other things like that. So I wasn't exactly into this music at the time, but I did have Thriller. The 1982 release, but there were so many hits on that it's going to span at least 3 years, which is crazy for one album. So like I said, I would have known of these songs really quickly after turning 10, probably around the time I turned 13. I would have known all of these songs. So.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about that, too, you kind of mentioned it with the Thriller thing, is there are a lot of songs on my list that stayed popular for several years. So even if you were getting into pop music in 1986 or 1987, there's a good chance a lot of these were still on the radio and were still heavily in circulation. So I think that we'll get into that. Anything you want to kind of talk about as far as your list construction, what your strategy was? Was it, let me take these songs and pick based the way I like? Was it more of popularity? Like what kind of went into your list?
Okay, so nothing went onto my list that I didn't like. I mean, there's only 10 songs in the year. I'm going to like all the songs. There is one song on here for sure that probably would not make my top 10 for 1983, but I included it because of reasons. But one of the reasons was that I really wanted a song by this person on there, and the one that I really wanted came out 3 months too early for this, so I wouldn't be able to do it. So I did add one that, I mean, I do love the song. I really do like the song, but I had to put it in at number 10 because I needed a song by this particular artist. Other than that, nothing is really jumping out at me as to why I grabbed the song that I did. Just that I really, really enjoyed it. There's gonna be a lot of pop on here. A little. There's gonna be, spoiler, there's gonna be some prog rock on here, which is strange, but and one pseudo hairband, because there were no hairbands at that time, pseudo hairband ballad made the list. So other than that, no, I threw songs that I really liked on here. I had a hard time ordering them. Making the list itself was not that tough, but ordering them was a difficult task.
Yeah, the ranking is always where I tend to struggle. Whittling it down to 10 is also difficult. Don't get me wrong, but it's once I get down to 10, it's trying to my list changes usually 5 minutes before we start recording because I listen to one and then it jumps above. So sometimes there's some recency bias. If I happen to hear it, it'll jump ahead of another one. But this year is littered with just so many classic, iconic songs that I'm sure we'll both get into that. Honestly, from 5 to 1, I feel like they could all be number one on someone's list. Yeah. And so I think it's a little top heavy, but I mean, the ones at the top are there for a reason.
Yeah. There was one song that jumped out at me. I decided I was not going to keep it. I would have never kept it anyway. But it's the Green Bay Packers touchdown song, and I can't stand anything about that team. So I decided, no, this isn't coming. No, we're not doing this. So all you Packers fans out there, Matt, you know what song I'm talking about.
Yeah, thank you for not including it because now we don't have to get into it. But we will start off. I'll go first because you're leaving us in so much suspense about your number 10. I want to have people wait a little bit longer. But if you are listening, thank you. We're going to get into it. Knowing that it's Dan and I, there's probably going to be some singing at some point. So you have that to look forward to. And we always go blast from our past style here. If something's a little bit higher, you can shout it out, say it's higher on the list, and we'll get to it when the other person ultimately reveals it. So I have a sneaky suspicion that might happen right off the bat for me. Because my number 10, admittedly, I think is a better song than songs that I have above it on the list. I think it's a better song. It's a song that has certainly stood the test of time, more so than songs that I have above it. But there is just a couple guilty pleasures right above it and some other songs that I think, because I don't hear them as much, maybe I'm just not as worn out. So this one dropped down to 10. I think people are going to give me a hard time for this one. It is the most radio played song ever, though. I did come across that when I was researching. So my number 10 is Every Breath You Take by The Police.
Not on my list.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I won't get as much crap for this then, because I'm sure there are many, many people that would have this close to, if not at the top, because it is. I mean, it's such a great song. It really, truly is.
It really is, and I think the reason that I didn't include it is because of it's been played, and it's been played, and it's been played, and it's been played. And then Puff Daddy decided to bring it back and. Not only bring it back, but the way that it was brought back for Biggie, like he could have just done that. Like, he was kind of the king of doing that in the mid to late 90s, was taking, what all about the Benjamins, don't push me. Cause he's done a lot of them, but because this was the one that celebrated Biggie's life, you threw that on top of it. And yeah, I mean, it was incredible. And I remember that performance at one of the award shows where Sting actually joined him and sang the chorus while Diddy and the Bad Boy family did their thing. But it really is, it's a great song. I mean, it's a creepy song, really, when you get into the lyrics. It's about stalking, but it's just like, it almost makes it the song's so good it almost makes stalking sound okay. And Sting has said, why would people have had this song at their weddings? Don't do that. That song is not a romantic song.
No, it's not at all. And I like, his vocals on the song, I think just work really well, especially when he starts to get to the second and third, the later verses in the song. But it also just has that classic opening, It really is just an incredible song. My favorite song by The Police. Not sure if The Police are going to come up again, as this podcast goes on into the mid to late 80s, because maybe my taste. So it's nice to have them represented. This is the first time I've talked about them on this podcast. And I just want to give some credit where credit's due. Terrific band. Sting's a great artist. I mean, he's still got the chops. He could still perform this today and it would sound just as good. So, that's my number 10. All
right. My number 10 if any of you know me, know of me, know where my love lies, I guess you should have known that we're going to get a song from Prince on this. I wanted to do 1999.
Yeah.
But you there, Scott? Sorry.
I'm here. Yep.
I've lost you. So, okay. I can still go though, because I just can't see anything. That's all.
Yep. No,
Sorry.
I can still hear you. So,
okay. There we go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we had to drop that right in the middle of doing this. Prince is a very, very big part of me as a Minnesotan. Prince was ours. He belonged to Minnesota. He was ours. And when we lost him, it was a huge blow. It's just a huge blow to us. Like I said, I wanted to do 1999, but it came out in September of 1982. So Little Red Corvette is going to be my number 10. Just it's the essence of Prince. It's the rhythmic lyrics that are just not quite right there, but just like the cadence of I guess I should have known by the way you parked your car sideways, it wouldn't last. It's got Prince's chops in there all over the place. I really do enjoy this song. But like I said, it's not my favorite Prince song, but it is going to be my favorite Prince song that I lands in 1983. So we will be going with Little Red Corvette by Prince for number 10.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I think it would almost be blasphemous to not have Prince represented at some point during this episode. I don't have a Prince song on my list. I think for some of those same reasons as some of the Prince songs that I prefer, unfortunately, don't fall into this because they weren't released in 1983. But I think it is great that he's represented on the list, and it's a fun song. It like you said, I think you used the perfect word, which was essence. Like this had Prince's essence all over it. Little Red Corvette, a song that if you're first hearing it and you're a kid, you're kind of like, why is he singing about a car? I don't really, I'm not really sure what this is, but obviously if you hear the lyrics and you kind of understand the meaning of the song and, the metaphor and what he was doing there. So, and it's a great song. It's a lot of fun. It's probably in my top 10 to 12 Prince songs. So, that's
which is saying a lot. Actually,
it's saying a lot, yeah. When it's Prince, so yeah, no qualms there. Our first two, and it's been The Police and Prince. So let that be an indicator, everyone, to where our lists are going, because we started at the top with some incredible artists with a lot of great history there. So incredible artists with a lot of great history has never been said about my number 9. So I'm not sure that this could be more opposite than the last two songs we talked about. This is a song that I just remember hearing as a kid. I grew up on 80s music, thanks to my mom. And this was a song that I just always thought was a lot of fun. It doesn't make any sense. The band name is really fun to say, but it's also a really fun song to sing. My number 9 is Too Shy by Kajagoogoo.
Not on my list.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be, and it probably shouldn't be on anyone's. But again, this is more of a guilty pleasure, fun song of mine that I really remember as a kid. Again, Kajagoogoo is something that sticks with you, and it's kind of hard to forget that name. And then the song itself, it's very much early 80s. It has that very early 80s sound, that some other bands were doing. It's kind of like Soft Cell or, Human League-y. Like it's definitely in that vein. So anytime a song fits that category, it speaks to me because I just enjoy that type of music. And then it's just fun to sing the chorus. You're too shy, hush, hush, I do I. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't really have any 80s new wave on here, which is surprising because there were a few of them that I considered, and this was one of them that I did consider. But I didn't pull the trigger on this one. The other one that I won't name it yet, but the other one I almost considered, I realized I like the cover version much later on than the actual version of the song that was released in 1983. So I didn't go with that one either. But yeah, not a lot of new wave on my list, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, not for me either, which is I think another reason that I wanted to have this on there. But it's just a good song, and shout to my mom, who I may or may not have shared on this podcast yet, but my mom closely resembles Meatloaf. So shout out to my mom and Meatloaf and Kajagoogoo for my number 9.
All right. My number 9, we're probably going to cross over on this one. So just let me know if we need to. Yep. But sorry about that. I got lost there for a second. If you do not have this one on there, then you'd have to ask yourself, who are you to disagree? Because I do have number 9, Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics.
Number 11 for me.
Oh,
just
really?
Missed my list. Yep.
All right. Well,
love this song.
Okay. So yes, first of all, the iconic, right? I mean, this is iconic.
Still to this day.
Yes. Yes. The synthesizer and bass line that just travels through the song. Just, I can't stop moving when I hear that. It's beautiful. And it's just very, very singable. It starts up and it's everyone's going to start singing it, right?
This is an earworm.
Right. And the Eurythmics just have that sound that it's them. The sound is them. It will remind you of some other people, but that song, when you hear anything by the Eurythmics, you absolutely know, yeah, that's the Eurythmics. And it just turned into such an iconic song that it had to be on here. Like I said, it's lower because it's not my favorite song, but it absolutely had to be on here.
Yeah, and this is a song that stands the test of time. It crossed over, right? This song is in commercials, it's in movies, it's in TV shows. You might hear it at a sporting event. You'll hear it at an old folks home. Like, this is just a song that you'll hear anywhere at any
Marilyn Manson covered it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it really, I mean, Annie Lennox does a terrific job with this song. I had an ex once who tried to argue with me that Walking on Broken Glass was a more popular song. Popular, not better, but a more popular song, which there aren't many more popular songs in history than Sweet Dreams Are Made of.
No, she'd be wrong. She'd be wrong about that. But Walking on Broken Glass,
great song.
Oh,
great song. Yeah, great song. Sweet Dreams Are, I mean, like you said, it's a fun song to sing. It's a great karaoke song. It just moves and it grooves so well. And right when you think you kind of have it figured out, because at first it's kind of the same thing. It's repetitive, right? Sweet Dreams, and then back into some of them. And then all of a sudden you get to the hold your head up, keep your, and the song completely switches.
Moving on.
Yeah, completely switches. Like, you've already had fun and it's taking you on this ride, and you're like, you know what? I could just sit here. This is my zone on this ride here. And then they switch it up and they throw that part in, and it's almost a separate song that's just as fun with now new words to sing along to. And I always enjoyed that about the song, because right around that time when you start to get to the point where you're like, well, this might be getting a little boring. I'm just saying Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Who am I to disagree? And, the little other parts, they give you the rest of that. And Annie Lennox kind of goes into that, she gets into that second part. So that new life of the song there. It's a terrific pick. Like I said, it just missed my list. Had it not been for my personal love for Kajagoogoo, this would have been on my list. So I can't disagree with it. Number 8. Yeah, we're already to number 8. My number 8 is a band that I think you probably referenced earlier when you said a hair band that isn't necessarily a hair band, because we're not quite there yet, but it was really, there are huge artists in 1983 that released multiple songs that are either on my list or were very close to my list, and so it was really hard to try to narrow it down. I didn't want to do more than 2 songs by any particular artist because I only have 10 to play with, but this is a song that I've learned to love over time. I think that had you asked me 10 years ago what my favorite song by this band is, I don't know that I would have named this one. But now, after just listening to it more, I really appreciate it. And I like that it's a little bit different than some of the other songs they were putting out around this time. My number 7, Separate Ways by Journey.
Not on my list, but You are right. That is the band that I was referencing. So
Yeah,
you will have another Journey song on my list at some point.
I figured. And I just, Separate Ways is, I do think it gets a little bit overshadowed, right, by some of the other ones, obviously. You know, your Don't Stop Believing and your Any Way You Want It. So it gets a little overshadowed, but I love how catchy it is. I love when it just gets to the chorus, the someday.
That's just driving. That driving.
Yeah. Break those chains that bind you. Yeah, like
couple points go away from it though because of the music video where they're doing air instruments.
It's a terrible music video. I always felt like Journey, they knew their songs were so good that they didn't really put a lot of effort into their music videos. You don't ever look back at Journey and say, you know what, that was a real sort of classic music video. We're going to talk about some other artists later that obviously the music video, it's hard to separate that from the song because of how good it is.
Yeah.
This Journey is not one of those bands. No. I'd rather listen to this with the TV off than to be watching the video. Because points come off of that. The video is a detriment, but you know, the verses in the song are fine, but it's really when it gets to the chorus and how catchy it is for Separate Ways. Just a really fun song. Everyone knows it now, you know, thanks to some of their other songs, I think, becoming so popular that people go back and they appreciate some of their other stuff a little bit more. And I think this is one of them. Great song on its own. The thing is, if another band released this, that could easily be like their best song. But because it's Journey and how good they are, it's, you know, maybe in their top 15 for a lot of people, if that. So it made my list at number 7.
All right. Well, my number... you mean number 8? That was not your number 8.
Sorry, my number 8.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My number 8 is another song that I'm putting on here because I can't have the song I want. But I do really, really, really like this one. And this is one of the original boy bands. We're talking Michael, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. And this one's going to be Candy Girl.
Yeah, it's not on my list. It was on my short list of my honorable mentions. I think as I get older, I like the song a little bit less because I realize how, you know, bubblegummy popcorn it is. And as a kid, I absolutely love this song because it's a lot of fun, and it was a great song for them to get that notoriety.
Yeah, it's automatic, a couple more points added on to it because of the scene in Dogma. Just don't know why, but I wanted Cool It Now. I really wanted Cool It Now, but I couldn't have it. Yep. But I couldn't have it, so I thought I have to include New Edition on here. Yeah. And I do really like Candy Girl. It's so catchy. And it's just so pure. Like even with the bubblegum aspect to it, it's just so pure. I can't put my finger on why I like it so much because it really is juvenile, but I don't care. It's so good. It just has that je ne sais quoi. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. I absolutely love this song. And again, you play this song, I'm going to be bopping my head and singing right along to it. And I'm a 50-year-old man. So, you know, that's got to mean something, right?
Yeah, and you said it. It's pure. This is a song that you can play for your kids. You don't have to worry about lyrical content. You don't have to worry about, you know, them picking up anything from it that you don't want them to. And it is catchy, and I think it's what the kids call a bop. I believe is something that gets thrown around, and I think this is the definition of that in the best way possible. And I mean, you were 10 when it came out, so you were the target demographic.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it may not have gotten to you at that point, but you know, it's.
No, it didn't, but Cool It Now did when it came out because I was at that demographic, and I was at that time in school, we were actually hearing these songs like in class. So Cool It Now I would have heard in gym class. Couple Michael Jackson songs I would have heard. I would have heard the Jets. I would have heard a lot of that going on. Just because, well, they're from Minnesota, so I would have heard them really early. But a lot of that stuff, yeah, it would have been hearing it in gym class. So, but that's my number 8, Candy Girl by New Edition.
Speaking of gym class, I don't know that I heard this in gym class, but had I listened to it in gym class, I think that would have inspired me to maybe go do some gymnastics or some stretching or something, because this is a song that it's just one of those sort of power inspirational songs that motivates you. And it's obviously because of the movie that it goes with. My number 7 is Flashdance by Irene Cara.
Also not on my list.
Yeah, I mean, this song is it's so good, right? Flashdance, what a feeling. Even before the Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson movie, the internship where they used it and kind of breathed a little bit of new life into it. I mean, I've always loved this song. Again, it really just does. It motivates you. It's that loud, fun, almost Eye of the Tiger-y type of song, right? That is there to, you envision yourself as the main character, finally prevailing, right? It's a triumphant song. Lyrics are fun. And then the chorus is just so fun.
Yeah,
what a feeling.
Yeah. I have rhythm now.
Yeah.
I have music now. Yeah.
The lyrics are exactly what you would want to write, something inspiring. Take your passion and make it happen. I mean, that's something you're going to teach to anyone. I performed this song in swing choir in high school, so I think that's even a little bit more of a notch, a positive notch for me. So, and it's
As did I. We did too. Yep.
It's one of those. It's one of those songs when when a cappella grooves really got popular in the early 2010s, thanks to like Glee and things like that. This was one of those songs that all of those college a cappella groups were singing. You'd hear it all the time. And it's pretty timeless because of that. So, I just really enjoyed this song. Flashdance, the movie, whatever, take it or leave it. Yeah. But the song's excellent.
Yeah, and this is one of those songs that I don't know if one's come up yet on either of our lists where you've got the very beginning is the ballad and it moves and moves and moves and builds until you get to the real big chorus. Yeah. Love those kind of songs. So
yeah, the ones that rise. I mean, that's just part of the fun too. Yes, that's part of the fun too. Is waiting for it, right? And sitting there, and you're in the car, and it's coming, and you're sitting at a red light, and you're like, by the time this light turns green, it's going to turn green right when the song crescendos, and it's that perfect moment, and then you're off to the races. Yep. So great song to me, and I really enjoy it. So had to make my list at number 7.
All right, my number 7. I'm positive we're finally going to have a crossover here.
I think it's going to start happening a lot.
Yeah. My number 7, not my favorite song on the album, probably not even my 3rd favorite song on the album, but that album is that good that the song had to make it on there. This is Billie Jean from Michael Jackson.
Higher on my list.
All right, so we will wait until we get to that to talk more about that one.
We will wait as we get to my number 6. We won't have to wait long to talk about the artist, though, because my number 6 is Michael Jackson as well, and it's Human Nature.
Ooh, good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best songs he has, and that's saying something. I from the way it's written, the words and the lyrics are incredible, and just the way that he performs it, the vulnerability that he performs it with and just, I mean, his vocal quality on this song is excellent. It's so recognizable from the first second of the song. Yeah. Even without the falsetto, just the, and then he gets into the falsetto of his voice. Man, I just love this song.
This is his most beautiful song for sure. I would say so.
I would agree.
And it would be on my list had I actually thought of it. I missed out on this one. I feel bad because this would definitely be on my list. It would be higher up on the list than this one is.
And it's one of those where, I mean, it's hard to think of a Michael Jackson song overshadowed, but this one is because of the album it's on. I mean, it's overshadowed because of all the other massive, more upbeat hits on Thriller.
Yeah, this one is definitely in my top 3 on that album, which is, again, saying something. Yeah, there's not much to say about this. If they say why, oh, I just tell them that it's human nature. Oh, it gets me. It gets me every time.
Yeah, and I've even grown, and that's that's the calling card. That part is the calling card.
Yeah.
But I've grown to love the verses so much.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Just the words. Looking out into the night times.
If this town is just an apple, let me take a bite.
Yeah, see that girl. She knows she's watching. She loves the way I stare. I just love the lyrics as well. To me, this is almost a perfect song, lyrically, vocally, the way it's produced. This song is top of the tops for me. The fact that it's only at my number 6, once again, is a testament to the songs that are coming up later on my list.
Yeah, I got goosebumps just thinking about that. So yeah, that's a beautiful song.
Nice. All right, you're number 6.
All right, number 6. This is the prog rock song. It's very much not a prog rock song, but it's a prog rock band. This is Owner of a Lonely Heart by Yes.
Oh, so good. Not on my list, but I love this song.
Just that opening guitar riff, and then the bass groove. Just and lose yourself.
The breakup.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From the breakup.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I'm not that big of a fan of prog rock. I enjoy Yes a little bit, not terribly much, but this song is just a killer song.
It is.
It's just so
doo-doo.
Lose yourself. Doo-doo.
It is. It's
story goes. Yeah.
It's so good, and it's one of those songs that I remember hearing as a kid when my mom would play it for me, and then it was gone for a long time, and then it showed up on Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I remember just playing that, and you had to hit the top of the D-pad to change the radio station. I remember just mashing it, waiting for this song. Oh, it's not there yet? All right, well, it's not. And just every 5 minutes or so, just getting back to that station to hope that this was a song that was playing, because it's that fun of a song. It's really good. It's really catchy. It's infectious. That's a great pick. Yeah, it was in my honorable mentions, but again, no qualms with that being where it is on your list.
Yep.
Man,
love that song. Just love that song.
All right, Dan, it's time to get to our top 5. My top 5 switched. So at one point, my number 3 was my number 1. My number 2 was my number 5. So I finally settled in. I almost feel wrong introducing this as my number 5, because I feel like now, even looking at it, I feel like it should be higher on my list just because of how much fun I have with this song and how much I enjoy it. But this is a band that I knew had to be on my list. There were a couple options. This one by far, though, was the song that I had to have. When I think 80s music, this is probably one of the first 5 or 10 songs that jumps in my head. My number 5 is Culture Club, Karma Chameleon.
Not on my list. Again, I can't blame you for having it on there, but not on mine. I do love the song, but no, not there.
Again, it's one of those songs that I think early on when you first hear it, it's very chorus driven. The comma, chameleon. And people, I love the Lovin' Would Be Easy if Your Colors Were Like My Dreams, red, gold, and green, which I almost like that part better than the first part. But then you go back and the verses are real fun. And the bridge, I'm a man without conviction. Like, once it gets to that, this song really takes off, and it's just so much fun. Shout out to Boy George and Culture Club. Wanted to have them represented on my list because that's kind of an 80s icon. There's Culture Club. So, and I just think the song is great. I'll Tumble For You was also 1983, which is a fun song as well, but to me, not really anywhere close to Karma Chameleon. I think this was one of the songs that was in Rome and Michelle's high school reunion that they sang along to, which also gives it points to me. Any song from that movie gets points automatically for me.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, just a really fun song, a song that I won't skip when it comes on. It's always a pleasure when I hear it, and I always enjoy the ride it takes me on.
And it has that keyboard intro. That's I love that. Yeah, it sounds so. I love that's the sound is just. I don't have words for it. I just love that sound though. All right, number 5. I have a culture icon. If you want to talk about culture icons, I think this one may actually be a bigger culture icon than Boy George, and that would be I'm Still Standing by Elton John.
Not on my list, but great song.
Yeah. And this one's had a resurgence recently with its inclusion in Sing.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And you're hearing it all over the place now. I hear it at work with the kids at the elementary school in their gym class. I hear it there. So anytime I can get music from 40 years ago coming back and making the kids sing it, it's good. And just the whole idea behind the "I'm still here." You've come after me, and I'm still here.
Yeah, great message.
Yeah, and then that's a song that's it's got that. Yeah, it's got that. Give it to me, I can take it, because you can't hurt me. And,
yeah,
and that's
that defiance.
Yeah, and just the chorus on that for me is what really gets it. I know it's chorus driven, but that "I'm Still Standing" is, again, I wish this was a video podcast, because you could see just how tough of a job it is for me to just, all I can do is just give you the hand gesture of I just like the chef's kiss of how that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm losing it just thinking about this song. I'm just gonna let you go on this, because I can't. I'm sorry.
I mean, I can't top that description and that love letter that you just wrote for "I'm Still Standing." But I completely agree. The message is incredible. The song's great, very chorus driven. But you know what? When the chorus is that damn good, that's fine for a song to be chorus driven. A lot of the songs we've been talking about are chorus driven. So that's not a detriment. That's not a negative phrase that we're saying, calling a song chorus driven, because that's what it's supposed to do, right? It's supposed to drive the song, and it's supposed to bring people in and keep them. So yeah, an incredible song. Again, glad that, we've got Elton John, we've got The Police, we've got Prince, we've got Journey, we've got Boy George. Just iconic artists, scattered throughout our list. So it's great to have some Elton John representation. He's been on the list. He's been, on the podcast before in the early 80s. He'll be on the list again, later on this podcast. So a lot of love there for Elton John. It's a great pick to start off your top five. My number four, I have a feeling we'll both be talking about, because it's my second song on the list from Journey, and that's "Faithfully."
Yes, that one will be coming later on.
I figured as much, so you can just go to your number four.
All right, my number four. You want to talk about epic? You want to talk about this just journey through a song, not journey, but this journey through the song, and the music video that just makes you go, what in the world is going on? This one is "Total Eclipse of the Heart" by Bonnie Tyler.
Just missed my list.
Missed. Okay.
And I think the only reason it missed for me is it's the "Every Breath You Take." It's a little overplayed for me. Yeah. And that's why I didn't make it. But yes, you're right about everything you said.
Okay. So this is one of those songs that it's just, you sit back, you buckle in, and you experience this song. Her vocals just so powerful, and just that very eerie, creepy sound that it has behind the turnaround every now and then. That's another one that builds and builds until you hit the
"And I Need You Now Tonight."
Yep. And it builds past that too, actually.
You're right.
Into the end of the song itself too. All build just it's so good. And then again, points for its inclusion in Old School and the Dan Band. Can't listen to that song without hearing that.
This song, this is one of those, again, stood the test of time. This song is still relevant. It's still around. There was the remake in what was it, 1994, 1995, kind of the house one that had the kind of the house beat in the back that also charted. Like, that's the fact that you could take that song and make it sound like Ace of Base and it still charted. That's incredible. I mean, this was a song that was originally written for Meatloaf. So shout out Mom and Meatloaf. Jim Steinman.
Yeah, you absolutely can't tell at all that this should have been a Meatloaf song.
Right, yeah. And what's funny about it is, I mean, it's better and bigger than anything that Meatloaf did. I mean, Meatloaf had some big hits, but I mean, nothing like this.
Gothic is the word I should have been reaching for there. That's what it is. It's gothic.
Yeah. It's got that Jim Steinman seal of approval on it. It's got that stamp, and like you said, this one builds to multiple floors, multiple levels. Yeah. You're right. It's, you get to And I Need You Now Tonight, and you think, oh well, that's the crescendo, and we'll only be making it right gets even higher, and then it keeps getting higher and higher, and before you know it, you don't have a voice anymore because you've tried to go up there with Bonnie Tyler, and you pop the vocal cord or something really bad happens. So it's actually a dangerous song when you think about it, when you're trying to sing along to it. Because if you don't have that range,
don't sing along with this one, people. Just
kids, don't try this at home. Don't try this one at home. Yeah, excellent song. The way that epic is the way that you described it at the beginning, and that's exactly what this song is. It's not a power ballad, but it has that epicness, right? It really doesn't fit anywhere. It's kind of its own category and its own box, but it's the best of everything that it encapsulates.
Yep.
Terrific song. Number three, I I don't know why I like this song so much. It's so fun to dance to. This is the one I have this on a playlist that if I'm trying to go running or if I'm going to do something, this is still on my playlist because when I put this song on, I feel like I'm wearing leg warmers. I feel like a Steel Town girl on a Saturday night looking for the fight of my life. My number 3 is Maniac by Michael Sembello off the Flashdance soundtrack, which my list here proves that soundtrack 100 times better than the movie.
Oh, yeah.
100 times better than the movie. Just a fun song, though. I really enjoy the song. One Hit Wonder by Michael Sembello. If you ask 10 people, 7 of them can't tell you who sang this song. No. And that's completely fine. I really don't care who sings it. I'm just glad that it exists because it's just a really fun song. And so, I mean, she's a maniac on the floor. Like, who doesn't sing along to that when you hear it? It's
George Steinbrenner sings along to it in Seinfeld.
Right. It's almost impossible to not sing along to this song. And
he doesn't. I'm sorry. That was a different song.
It's so good. This song
was Maneater.
Also a great song that's already been covered on this podcast. But yeah, I absolutely adore this song. It's been one of my favorites since the very first time I heard it. And I still get that same level of enjoyment and enthusiasm now than when I first heard it.
Yeah. When you said it's still on your running playlist.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at my list and said, oh, no, we're no crossover on this one. As you'll see when I get to mine, it's there's no more putting it on to run.
No, maybe probably to cry, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No, great song. Great song. I can't see anything but Chris Farley with this song though.
Right.
But no, really good song, and again, catchy as anything. Yeah, so good. So good. All right. Number 3. Number 3 makes it on the list on its own. Makes it this high on the list because of its inclusion in a very classic movie that I can see the scene going in my mind right now just thinking about the song. And this is Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Oh, not on my list. And this is my human nature. Like, that's how I feel, is how you felt when I said human nature. Yep. Oh my goodness. I love this song. This is one of it's one of the coolest songs I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's really so different and it's so cool. And shout out to Bananarama for releasing it. Yeah, I absolutely love this song. Great choice. Excellent choice.
Yeah. This is the soccer tryouts scene in Karate Kid.
Yeah.
When Daniel's trying to dribble with the ball, and one of the Cobra Kai gives him a slide tackle. It's in the middle of the bass breakdown. Do 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 do. Love everything about the song. I love everything about the song.
I don't know how I overlooked this one. This would have cracked my top 5 without question.
Well,
I absolutely love this song.
You overlooked this one, and I overlooked Human Nature. So we both got it on.
We both kind of got an extra. Yeah, we both kind of got an extra song. Yeah, I agree. Just the beat, right? This one is, it's just so much fun. It's such a fun song, and I want to listen to it no matter what I'm doing. It's like I don't care. Like I don't care what I'm doing when this song comes on. I'm going to enjoy it. It's so good.
Yep. I mean, makes me want to play soccer.
Well, sure.
Not really, but no.
It makes me seriously just want to listen to more music and or the same song over and over again, because that's how good it is. It's excellent, and I don't care about the Ace of Base version. It's Bananarama's all the way.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever.
Honestly, it was too early, Ace of Base, to go and release this. All right, the other one was still, the body still had life in it. Yeah. You didn't have to, it didn't have to be remade at all. But an excellent song. I love it. Number 2s. We're up to our 2s and our 1s, and I know that you have one that's on my list, and you know that I have one that's already been on your list. So now it's just a matter of placement. My number 2 is probably my favorite song of this year, which is saying a lot because I just had an orgasm over Cruel Summer, and several of the other songs on here. But when you mentioned before, for what you said, when it was Total Eclipse of the Heart, when you said, and then the music video, and you're really taking on a ride. This one is a video that I remember just watching over and over and over again on VH1 as a kid. I almost know the video frame by frame, scene by scene. I can probably still reenact the entire end, like, dance sequence and what goes on in there. But aside from that, the song itself, the artist itself, and the way the song is sung is a perfect 10 to me. And that is Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar.
That was very, very high. Didn't quite make the top 10 for me.
I absolutely adore this song. I just think it's incredible. If you listen to the song, it's another song that builds, the verses are a little bit sung a little bit slower, sung incredibly well, of course, but a little bit slower, but then you get to the believe me, I can't tell you why. And once you hit that, and then you get to the We Are Young, heartache to heartache we stand, this song just takes over, and it becomes this roller coaster ride of emotions and of happiness, and it's so empowering. It's incredible. It's a great song, a great depiction of love and just what that is, because it truly is a battlefield. And I just love this song, and the music video is classic, and it's incredible. And shout out to Pat Benatar, an artist that I really, really enjoy, who I don't think gets enough credit for her contributions to music, and just for how great her music is and was, and maybe a little bit overshadowed by Madonna and maybe even Cyndi Lauper to an extent.
She kind of came in at a bad time, didn't she?
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, because I think Pat Benatar is incredible. And even Olivia Newton-John, I think, probably overshadowed her a little bit in that time frame as well, that late 70s to early 80s. But I'm just a huge fan. I love Pat Benatar. I love this song. I knew it would be 1, 2, or 3 on my list. It was a matter of where it went, and I ended up putting it in the number 2 spot.
All right. Well, number 2 is where we can finally talk about the song. This is Faithfully.
Are you saying that The Road is no place to start a family?
Okay, so what I love about this song, first of all, it's a beautiful song.
It is.
It's the definition of a power ballad. However,
look up power ballad in the dictionary. This may be the song that it shows.
However, for me, what gets me about this song is just the story behind it, and how I'm gone all the time, but it's always been you. It's never been anyone else, and it never will be anyone else. And we are going to make it, even though we're worlds apart.
Separate ways.
Yeah, separate ways. Just the line, I find the joy of rediscovering you. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful song, and just a beautiful lyrics, just and the sentiment behind the whole thing. It's just nearly a perfect song as far as I'm concerned.
I completely agree. This is a song for a wedding or for a vow renewal, right? Because it is really about that timelessness of a relationship. And I mean, I'm forever yours faithfully. But the oh girl, you stand by me is I mean, to me that really stands out. It reminds me of spoiler alert, but the end of the Friday Night Lights TV show, when Coach Taylor decides that it's finally time for his wife to pursue her dreams, and he's going to stand next to her after all the years that she spent as a coach's wife. That to me is what this song is. It's realizing that person has been by your side, even if it's not physically, right? But they've been by your side for so long, and this is your love letter to them. And it's sung so well. It's a song everyone knows. The notes that Steve Perry's hitting in this song, forget about it. The faithfully, I'm still yours at the end, the crescendo. I mean, and then you get into the part that everyone can sing along with, this song. It's I think it's one of the best songs ever written. I think it's one of the best songs that's ever been performed, the way Steve Perry performs it. I think it's, if not it's certainly one of the best power ballads we've ever heard. And honestly, I think that if it weren't for this song, I don't know that power ballads would have stayed as much in circulation, because there are some really bad ones out there. And we were getting into a time where music was going to shift a little bit into the late 80s. And I think that some of the reason that those hair bands have power ballads, like I think we have And Every Rose Has Its Thorn, because of this song. I think that we have, some of those other, Guns N' Roses and some of those other hair bands that decided to throw out a ballad, I think is because of what Journey did with this song.
Yeah, absolutely. This song is truly close to perfection as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. It's my number 4, your number 2. So collectively it's in our top 5, as it should be. We're both going to be able to talk about my number 1 because you mentioned it earlier. It's Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. I just think that it's one of the most, it goes without saying, it's one of the most popular songs of all time, universally known. Everyone knows the song. There's so many different parts in the song that are fun to sing along to, right? That everyone knows. It's not just the Billie Jean is not my lover and the kid is not my son. I mean, there's, and the music video, everyone knows the music video. Yep. And the floor is lighting up while he's dancing, and the outfit, and then the added points because this is the song where he debuted the moonwalk during the Motown show, so that's added points. It's funny, off the album that's called Thriller, that has Thriller on it, which is maybe the most well-known song of all time, and yet Billie Jean is just the superior song and is kind of his calling card. And I think one that people now kind of go back to remember. And if you say to someone, name a Michael Jackson song, there's a chance that they say Billie Jean first, which is saying a lot, again, when you're Michael Jackson. So his dancing, the mixture of the singing, the dancing, the way the song was produced, you've got the little breakdown. Like it's a ride of fun. Like, this is what Coolio meant when he said fantastic voyage. I think this song is a fantastic voyage.
And just from the very beginning of this song, the very start of the song that goes into the
yep. And by the time it gets to that part, you're already dancing.
Yeah, you're already in. You are already in.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you know what's to come, and you're just excited. And you know that the next 3.5 to 4 minutes of your life is pure bliss.
I still say that I would put Human Nature. I would put Beat It. I would put Want to Be Starting Something. All of those over Billie Jean. And maybe even The Girl Is Mine.
And it's not a detriment to Billie Jean. It's a testament to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
But yeah,
absolutely.
it had to be my number one. This was my favorite song as a kid. This probably remained my favorite song into my teens. It's one of my all-time favorites. And so I went Billie Jean 1, and then I had to do the rest of my list. That's how it was for me. So that's my list there. We'll talk more about Michael Jackson in honorable mentions for sure, because we can just put the whole album in there. We could have really. But before that, we'll throw it to you. You can close us out with your number one.
Well, my number one did not make your list at all. And this is a song that I want to be very clear about this. This is based almost solely on the music and the tone of the singer, more so than the lyrics of the song, because the lyrics of the song are just kind of all over the place. But the song is beautiful, and it is iconic in and of itself, just because of the very opening part of it. And I think I'm not certain about this, but I'm pretty sure that part of the music in the song itself is what was a inspiration for I Want It That Way. And this is True by Spandau Ballet.
Just missed my honorable mentions, but
okay.
Yeah, it's a really interesting song and a different song in an era of all these songs that we've been naming here on this list, right? It's very different.
Yeah. It's pure ballad.
Oh yeah.
And the star of the show is the hook, the ha 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 ha. And the this much is true. And then the line that everybody knows, I bought a ticket to the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. Again, no awards given out for the lyrics to the song. It's all over the place, but just the tone of the singer on the song just is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I want his voice. I absolutely want his voice. And this is a song that I could just sit back, close my eyes, and listen to it over and over and over again. Just absolutely. I love it that much. It puts me into it puts me into a good mood just listening to it. So
yeah, I mean, you mentioned I Want It That Way, which obviously is a song that in 16 more episodes will come up. But
yeah, it does. At the breakdown at the end of the chorus. Da,
yeah.
da, 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 da.
Yeah, yep. But you have Set Adrift on Memory Bliss, which was a huge song in the early 90s that sampled this. You by Lloyd featuring Lil Wayne in the mid 2000s sampled this. I mean, this is something that is sampled a ton in other songs. This is a song that it's one of those songs where people know it, but you don't necessarily know who it is. It's one of you're like, oh yeah, I know this song, but I can't for the life of me tell you who sings it. This is a good song for trivia, right? Because it's one of those. Not everyone attributes Spandau Ballet to this song. I remember this song also it's in Not Another Teen Movie, which is something that immediately comes to mind when I hear this because it was used in a scene in that movie. So one of those songs that was not only overlooked when it came out because of all these other massive iconic songs that we've mentioned over the past hour, but a song that has actually stood the test of time because it's been featured in so many other songs and it's been featured in movies and things of that nature. So I don't have any issues with that as your number one. It is very different. and I think it's a nice way to close out your list. It definitely makes your list more eclectic because it is different than anything else that we've named, and that is saying a lot when it's 80s music that has a lot of sort of repetition and a lot of copycats. This was something that did not sound like anything else at the time.
Yeah, so, and now you can hear it everywhere.
Yeah, now I can't, and it's catchy. I can't get it out of my head now after you sang it a couple of minutes ago. I can't get it out of my head now. So, but I'm gonna try to by shifting in to some honorable mentions. Some of them have been mentioned, or they were on each other's lists. Like "Sweet Dreams" was an honorable mention for me. "Total Eclipse of the Heart." If I'm going to reveal and I have to go somewhere to begin my list, it's "Wanna Be Starting Something."
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way to start an honorable mentions list for me. One of Michael Jackson's most fun songs, in my opinion. This is the song, and my girlfriend knows this, that when we plan our wedding, this is the first song that we'll play when it's time to shift and transition to the dance floor.
Yeah,
because that's what the song does.
All you got to say is "Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kusa," right? I mean, that's
yeah. So that's an honorable mention for me. We'll go back and forth here. You give one because I don't want to name a bunch because I feel like you'll probably have them too.
Okay, so one that I was really, really hoping to get on, I found out was too late and I couldn't put it on. But the other song that goes hand in hand with it is "Girls Just Want to Have Fun."
No, yeah.
It's a fun song. It's an iconic song, iconic video. I really wanted. Sorry. I really wanted. What I'm losing it right now. Time after time. I really wanted time.
Oh
after time.
yeah.
It was just too late for it. So.
Yep.
But yeah, "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." Captain Lou.
Yeah. Classic video. Classic video.
Yeah, and it's just an anthem song. One of those anthem songs. It's fun. It's really fun.
Agreed. So I have one here. I mentioned the band earlier when I was talking about Kaja Gugu. That's Human League Fascination. Just because, again, just kind of a weird song. Just performed very interestingly, but I always like the "Keep Feeling Fascination." The chorus is fun on that one, so that's a decent song. Not my favorite Human League, but I think it's all right.
Yeah. The song that I really, really like, but I just don't like the original version, is "Mad World" by Tears for Fears.
Oh, that's a great song. I think I agree. I think I've heard better versions.
It's too for what that song is. It's too 80s poppy.
Yep.
It's too new wave.
That song should be dark.
Yes, it should.
Dark.
And when it's done later on, it is, and it's creepy in a good way.
I agree. That's a really fun song. I'll go next. "She Works Hard for the Money" by Donna Summer.
Yeah.
You talk about another song that's just really fun to sing. And it's a really empowering song for women at that time when we were starting to see that a little bit more, with "A Girls Just Want to Have Fun" is, that's, kind of a song by a woman for women. This is too, this is that working class mom, that's who this song, sort of idolizes. And I think so many people can agree with that. It's a very blue collar sort of hardworking message, but then also Donna Summer's delivery in most of her songs is incredible. And so I'm a big Donna Summer fan, thanks to my mom. And I really like this song.
Yep. All right. I'll give you a twofer here.
All right.
And this is because I know these songs are wonderful songs, and I know these songs are powerful songs, and I know they're iconic songs. But for me, I didn't hit this band for another 4 years. And then once I hit them hard. And that would be U2 with either "Sunday Bloody Sunday" or "New Year's Day."
Yeah, I would agree that, they're going to come up for me in, I don't know,
87.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably 4 episodes, and then they're gonna come up again, and then they're gonna come up again. But yeah, this is probably, it's a little early for my taste when it comes to U2, but they are both great songs.
Yeah, they really are. They're iconic songs. They're just, for me, I hadn't, it's not where I discovered them. So when I discovered them, that's when I'm really going to be passionate about their stuff.
Yeah.
And then the stuff before that, yes, I'm still going to enjoy it, but it's not going to be.
It's not the same. Yeah,
right.
It's not the same.
Exactly.
Yep, I feel the same way about that with U2. I'll sing a fun part of a song. I don't know that I love the whole song, but I love this part. Our love's in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Baby.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I wanted to put that as an honorable mention because I think that's a lot of fun. And I have 2 left, so I'll just give them here.
Okay.
One of them is I Love Me a Good Power Ballad, and there weren't many bands that did it better at the time than Air Supply. So Making Love Out of Nothing at All.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honorable mention for me. And then my last one is it's not just because of the opening of Pineapple Express, but that helps, and that's Electric Avenue by Eddie Grant.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to rock onto Electric Avenue?
Out on the street, there is violence.
There is violence, and it's just the way he said, like the way he says it makes it sound fun and cool, and then you're like, no, he's talking about violence. But because he has the accent, it sounds incredible.
I'll throw out 1 or 2 more too. This is one that doesn't have rise. It starts great and then kind of peters out, and that is Naked Eyes. Always something there to remind me.
Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
Dun 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 dun.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and how about talk about someone that never showed up on either one of our lists, Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah.
And it's probably because a lot of those songs were just right outside of the 83 area. But Heart of Rock and Roll was.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah. That's yeah.
The call out song. Songs. It's one of those call out songs where you're naming stuff.
Yep. Yeah, those are always good, right? Those We Didn't Start the Fire type songs are always, those are always fun. That's a good shout.
Yep. So yeah, when I started looking at the songs for 83, I looked at a website that had like 5 or 6 pages of songs that they said were 1983.
That they charted in 1983.
Exactly. So I that's why I lost a lot of songs I wanted. And you know what? One last one that I almost put on there just because of sentimental value, because of Rock Band, and because of Geek Bowl in Las Vegas, and that would be Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about that song since Rock Band.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean you're right. You kind of have to have a sentimental value for it to kind of come close to a lot of the songs that we talked about. But,
and that song, I mean, yeah, that song, I mean, it is a good song, but that's not a top 10.
No.
Song for anything. Maybe a top 10 Suicidal Tendencies song, but
probably
that's it.
Probably. Is it a top 10 Geek Bowl Las Vegas song?
It was because Richard Cheese sang it.
Oh yeah, of course. Anytime good old Dick Cheese does anything. So we made it. We did it. We got there. We didn't have as much crossover as I initially thought. We both had songs that I think, we each had a song that the other person completely forgot about.
Yep.
And then we both had songs that narrowly missed each other's list and were an honorable mention. So I think that if this were a top 15, we would have had a little bit more crossover and
we definitely
more similarities. But I mean, that's one for listening quality. You don't want as many crossovers because then all you're going to hear is we'll get to it, and then, I like to have a variety on these lists. And that's why I tend to try to bring on individuals who I know are going to provide that variety for people because there's so much to get to. starting, I mean, 1980, when, you know, our initial episode, and even 1981, like there were some great songs, but I knew that getting into the mid 80s is really where it's going to be tough to whittle these lists down to 10 and to rank them.
Yeah. 84 is going to be huge.
Yeah.
86, 87-ish is going to be huge.
So it's funny that you mentioned, so 84, I have my guest lined up is someone that you know. His name is Mason Giat.
Oh,
he'll be joining me for 1984. And then 1986 is someone that you know even better than Mason Giat, and I have Scott Barber lined up.
Oh, nice.
For 1986.
Scott, I envy you being on this one for that. Scott will also second the idea of Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies being one of the greatest Suicidal Tendencies songs, because he's the one that neither one of us could pull the song. It was Richard Cheese singing it, and we had to tell you what the song was and who sang it originally, and neither one of us could get it, and we felt stupid because I actually said it. I said, "Is this Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies?" And we threw it away and never came back to it. So
so I'm excited for the upcoming episodes, but I'm really excited that we got through this list. This has some of the most iconic songs of all time that we named. You know, between Billie Jean and Faithfully and I mean, Every Breath You Take. Like these are songs that even Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. I mean, are some of the most popular songs ever made, and they all were all released in this calendar year, and I mean they all charted into 1985, 1986 it seems like, because of how popular they were. So you know, this was a tall order, and I'm glad we got through it. I appreciate you for joining me and for taking the time out to make this list, and hopefully it didn't give you as much of a headache as it tends to give me trying to break these down. But it's also a fun exercise, and you know, gives you a chance to put things into perspective. So before we get out of here, though, please let people know where they can hear you, or where they can interact with you, whatever the case may be. The audience that we usually roll with is maybe a little bit different here over on the Place to Be Nation pop feed. So you may be able to gain some fans here. So let them know all about you. Yeah.
So you can hear me on the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. That's the flagship for both Scott and I. We'll be on there together quite often. You can find me on Instagram at Trivia Geek. You could get me on Twitter, but I've deleted the Twitter app for a while now. But I'm Real Trivia Geek on Twitter. If you ever really want to do anything, I'm never on there though. I'm a board game designer. I don't know if any of you all knew that or not. And you can really follow me, and my board game account on Instagram is Trivia Geek. So you can follow along. Right now I'm doing a top 50 on there, top 50 board games of all time as far as I'm concerned. And I just released number 41 today. So there's still a whole lot more fun on that one before I hit number 1. That's about it. I'm pretty boring. So, but I really appreciate the opportunity to be on with you tonight, Scott, and look forward to joining you again, and more so on any other things we want to rank. So looking forward to it.
Any other things we want to rank. I can say with absolute certainty that I will extend an invitation for you to do more music, maybe once in the 90s, once in the, we'll see where it goes, but we'll certainly have you back on. Any listeners, if you want to come on and there's a specific year that resonates with you, please let me know and reach out to me. My information is available when this episode is posted. You'll be able to see all of that. So please let me know. I have some guests lined up from 84 to 88, I believe, right now. But after that, I'm completely open. So if 90s is your jam, let me know. I'll get you on and we can count down these songs. Thank you again, Dan. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to the entire Place to Be Nation family. Whether it's the pop feed or the wrestling feed, you're always getting good entertainment. So please go and listen to everything that they have to offer. For me, I'm out. I will see you in 1984. Thank you once again for listening to Totally Rank.